You ready?
Yeah. All right.
Okay. We're already running a couple minutes late. I'm a very particular person. I don't like to do this stuff late, so let's get started. Okay. Let me give you a brief introduction.
Can I borrow this pencil?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Yesterday I took some notes on some stuff, so I think the first thing we have to do is the CDC Connects rollout.
Okay.
You saw the two different views of the intranet. Let me go ahead and show it to you. This is what our intranet looks like, okay? And this is what the CDC Connects looks like,
Okay, yeah.
okay? So we need to take all our website and put it from this format into this format. I'm figuring, I have a list of all the pages we have. We have about 363 pages. I have an Excel list. We could either do a script on it, or we execute a script to clear out the thing and put the include files at the top and things like that.
Okay.
So I think we can do this in about 4 days. 300 pages, you know, we hit it pretty hard. So I'm going to put you in charge of that project.
Okay.
And we're going to roll this out this weekend.
Okay.
Okay? Then the other thing I wanted to do, by the end of today, I wanted you to create a strategy document.
Strategy
Okay? I
document.
want you to start just 5 pages as an outline, okay? Just high level bullet points, just this is what I want to accomplish for the intranet in this year. Because I figure you've gone through the intranet, you've talked to Scott, so you have a good idea of a good strategy document to start off with. Okay, the next big project, so I want that done by the end of today.
Okay.
Okay. Then, as I say, this weekend we're going to roll out the CDC Connects. Next week, okay, by the end of the week, we have to do the intranet assessment. We did it last year at this time, and why I'm pushing an aggressive deadline on this as only 1 week is because last year, you know, we did about a 30-page document, and all it ended up was for 3 months it was going around to people getting certified, getting approved and stuff like that. I want a week. I want us to pound it hard, get it done, and get it over with. Okay. John went over the track application.
Yeah.
How comfortable do you feel with that? Okay. You know a little bit of C#?
No.
Okay. Well, what I would do is, you know, this is consulting, so you gotta get really good at this.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's a book. I want you to read this. I figure a chapter a day. Okay. That's 15 chapters. So by the end of 2 weeks, you should be up to speed on C#.net. Okay. The best way to get good at this is to do programming, and we have a couple applications that we can go ahead and convert to C#. So I have 2 administrative pages that we do for the website. I want you to convert those to C#.
Okay.
Okay, should be no problem. As I say, 14 days. I gave him a project to do in 3 days. 3 days on his arrival. But he's not too good, so, you know, I'm really hoping that you will take the ball and really run with this.
Okay.
Okay. So by doing that in 2 weeks, I know you have these other projects going on, but just pound into it. I mean, you know, this is consulting. You've got to be willing to put in, you know. I mean, last night I was here till 7:30 at night, so you just got to put it in. Now, the nice thing is, in the next couple weeks, you know, you'll get good at this, and then you'll get some balance. But for the next 2 weeks, just clear off your calendar. You got it?
Got it.
Okay. You have anything on your calendar that we should be worried about? Okay.
Not that I know
Because you
of,
really
yeah.
need to focus on this. Okay. So we've covered track. You've done a little review with him, but I think the only way to get good at it is to just get into the code.
Yeah.
And, you know, just pound into the C#, you'll get good at it. Okay. You noticed that yesterday everybody talked about Excel spreadsheets and Access databases and stuff like that. No more Excel, no more Access. We got to put everything in databases.
Okay.
And the idea is, where I went wrong is I made myself unapproachable. Okay, I made sure that they did requirements documents and stuff like that, so people were hesitant to approach me with the problems early. okay? I need you to take a more, genteel approach.
Okay.
But really deliver on I always delivered on the requirements, and I was able to turn it around real quickly. Every project you got to be thinking about 2 or 3 days. Okay. I've showed you the 2 different look and feels. A big thing you heard yesterday about portals. Okay, the portals, all it is it's one page where you put all the links. That links everything together. I think we need to move a lot more towards portals, performance management application. Let me show you this. And everything here is on this machine is local. It's not accessed by other people, but this is where I do all my development.
Yeah.
Are you good at Rational Rows?
Rational
rows?
rows?
Okay, the unified process?
Mm.
Oh, God. Okay. After you do the C#, 2 weeks, I'll put it on my calendar. The next 2 weeks, you're going to have to learn Rational. Rational is this big monster. I mean, it has everything from requirements analysis, test cases, versioning control, all these things. So you're going to have to start getting some notes on that. Prepare for the next 2 weeks that you're going to go into that. I learned it in about 6 days.
Okay.
So I'm figuring 10 days, that's 50% more time, so you should be able to do that. On this machine, there's a Bearing Point website, and I think one of the things that you can do is really update. Do you have any questions so far?
No, I mean, rationalist. I guess I'll learn that later.
Okay. Well, it's right here. You go to Programs, shoot down to Rational Software, and you see all the different types of things that it has. Okay? So the main thing is ClearQuest is where they send in bug fixes on track.
Is it just a development software?
It's a software development planning
Yeah.
tool. Okay?
Okay.
You don't develop applications in it, but you plan it. And it
Okay.
is really in-depth. It talks about 4 views: use case, data flow model, database design model, and the use case, the test case model.
I mean, but it's-
So you have all these different views of the project that you have to think through. So if you think through it, you'll be really good at developing software in the
Okay.
software development lifecycle. It is a bear. I mean, it may take longer than 2 weeks, but I'd shoot for 2 weeks. If you study it about 6-7 hours a day, that leaves you about 3 hours for the rest of your work. You could do it, okay? And if I overwhelm you, just let me know, okay? So that's where Rational is. You're probably not set up under your own user ID, but that's the one thing you can. So you'll come here and you'll go through it and learn it. The tutorials are pretty good. That's the best way to do it, is
Okay.
get into the tutorials. Okay. Going back to here, I have created a Bearing Point team website. Okay? So let's pop that up. Okay, so this lists all the people here, gives pictures, gives some summary information, okay? We need to get the new people in here, get pictures from the new people,
Okay.
okay? And then if we can get them to update it, edit, they can put some stuff in there so that everybody knows about the team. This is also where we keep all our documents that aren't in Introspect, or more personal documents. If we have an event, I take pictures at these events. Do you have a digital camera? I just start keeping pictures, like the Hands-On Atlanta Day, all these things. Start keeping a picture archive. Also, anything with here, the CDC people, if you can get pictures. When I put up a website with pictures, they were all over it. They loved it. So do pictures. I also did a survey application. You've seen SurveyMonkey or Zoomerang.
Zoomerang, yeah.
Create surveys. We have created an intranet survey. Put that on your list. For the second week of November, we got to send out a survey of our consumers, okay? But what we need to do is get a baseline of our performance metrics, and then every quarter we'll release that survey, and then we'll be able to compare how the intranet's doing over a period of time.
Okay.
So we can start collecting data. That's really, really important. Okay, so we've talked about portals, performance management. This is really cool, but nobody is using it yet, but it is hot, okay? The idea here is that we create a public task list and everybody can see what everybody else is working on, okay? It lists completed items or not completed items or all. Everything, every task should be in here, has a date, has an overall rating. Whether it's green, if it's at yellow, that means that there's some risks involved, okay? That way we get to see all the employees, all their task lists. Okay, this is a really cool application. Actually, I think it could be turned into a commercial software application, because the whole problem is people don't know what other people are working on. So we need, and I'm thinking this is a good sell for the client, so that they know what people are going. You see, what they're doing is they're measuring projects, but I don't think you can measure successfully at the project level. You have to get down to what people are doing, what the tasks are doing. If you have more granular data, then you can roll it up to the project level and see how the whole project is doing. But unless you have the granular data at the lower level, so that's what I'm trying to push this stuff down to. The other thing that we have is we have a lot of divisions with websites, but each division has a project, so we need to create a project workspace for them. You've heard about Documentum, EMC? Okay. You got to put that down, EMC Documentum. You got to get the documentation on that. It's a document management system, okay? So we're now out 4 weeks. So week 5 and 6, actually week 5, it should only take you 3 days, okay? You need to learn Documentum. You need to print out that PDF file with everything on it and just cover it in depth. Remember, when we meet with the client, they expect us to be an expert on this stuff. So we're going to, that's probably the implementation of that. Okay. But everybody else who's done this has taken months. I've done document management before. Okay. The longer it is, the more painful it is. Just get it in there, get it over, get it done. It's a lot less painful, but it is a thing that they'll be able to milk for a couple months, 3-4 months. Okay, 6 months. Okay, so that's essentially, and this, once you build these applications for our team here, this can be rolled out across the CDC account team. You know, it would be really cool to see what, you know, the other team leads are working on, what sort
who's
of...
in charge of updating and...
Well, everybody would update their own stuff. So this is a pretty cool application. This will really work. Okay. You do some reading on some balanced scorecard. There's a book on balanced scorecard and nonprofits and nonprofits. Get that book, and I just assume that one weekend you'll just read through it. It's, you know, a 200-page business book, so it should take you no problem finish that in a week. Start thinking about creating a website around that. That's going to be really good on building up on Galen. Galen is the Chief Operating Officer, and he's big on performance measures. So get good at balanced scorecard, create a prototype of a website. You know, the other day they were talking about a prototype and doing it in PowerPoint. It's so easy to do a prototype in, you know, front page or something like that. Get a web page if you can talk to them. So in those meetings, keep a task list of things that are going on and try to approach them early and get that going. So that portal, yeah, I totally agree that all these documents should be, you know, the first step is if they create it in Word, convert it into PDF, put a link on a page to it. The second thing is convert it from PDF into HTML and things like that. The last step is actually having a checklist. Okay, a checklist where if they are required to read something or create a standard footer in their email, create a checklist so that they go in and they update that they did that. Then you're keeping track of who did it, when they did it. Okay, and if they're not, we can send reminders. Have you sent email through a web application? I'll show you how to do that. It's real easy. But it's workflow. It's starting to put workflow in. It's that when you start moving applications from collecting data to getting things done, where they push a button
Yeah.
and something gets approved, something gets
Yeah,
done.
yeah.
You really enhance the website. So, okay. Now we're starting to do a lot more data. Now we're going to start moving data across applications.
Okay.
The good thing is everything's in SQL Server or something that we can move into SQL Server. Get used to moving things from SQL Server into Access, into Excel. Have you done some of that?
Yeah,
Okay.
a lot of
So do a lot of that. Also, you heard yesterday that everything was summarization. Okay.
Mhm.
So it's all about collecting huge amounts of data and then doing summaries on it. Another big thing is people will create new outcome fields, okay, to summarize the other one. Keep the original, add another field.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's pretty much that stuff I have done. Okay. We need to, our navigation on this CDC Connect site, we need to make it database driven. Okay, that way we only have to update it once. Otherwise, we're going to have to update it in lots and lots of places.
Wait, on this?
On the
On the
CDC
rollout.
Connects.
Yeah,
on
I
the
mean, the one that we
rollout.
wanna
So we
roll
need
out.
to think of some sort of database on that. So you got to do that this week. That's this week. And I'll show you the cascading style sheet this afternoon. Okay. I've told you about the pictures. I've shown you some of the picture application. You might want to roll that into the CDC Connect. Project templates, we've talked about that. Okay, do you have you created your own personal Microsoft project?
No.
Okay, so you already have these weeks lined up. I want to see that this afternoon
We
when
have
start.
project?
We use Microsoft
I thought
Project.
they said that we did.
Yes, we do.
Okay,
And if
I
you
know
don't
it's
have
not
it on
there.
here, I'll put it on.
Yeah, I don't
But you
have-
need
I
to
don't
put-
have it. I know
okay.
I don't
Well,
have it on
actually, you
there.
can put it on this machine. You can use this. I'll leave here because I got to run a couple things, but you go ahead. I want this afternoon. So this evening, I have the strategy document. This afternoon, I have a project plan of what you're doing for the next 3 months. I do everything in 90-day periods. Okay. I keep a task list weekly. You create a task list weekly. You scratch out what you complete, and then you roll it over to the next week. And that's pretty much that. Any questions so far?
Not till I get in there and start doing stuff.
Okay. Are you feeling overwhelmed at all?
It's quite a bit, but I mean,
You can handle it?
Yeah, we'll see.
You can do all this,
Yeah.
right? This is no problem. I'm not asking too much, am I?
I hope not.
Okay.
Once I get in there, and I mean, that's my biggest worry.
That's your biggest worry?
Yeah,
Well,
that's my
I mean, now you got to focus in.
Yeah.
You got to do it, man. You got to do it. This
Yeah.
is high pressure environment. Okay.
The task list strategy document, like for strategy document for what we just went over, all 5 of these things. Okay, so
Okay.
just bullet points of
Bullet points, 5 pages.
How
End
I'm
it
gonna-
today.
how I'm gonna. All right.
Okay.
I think. I
That's, we've just done about 20 minutes.
got- okay.
So I'm going to take a break now.
Okay.
Okay.
Um,
And we'll come back at after lunch. I think I've given you enough to do.
all right, so you're out of here with this because I need.
I
a
can use,
computer.
you can use the computer.
Okay, yeah, I definitely need a computer. So,
Okay.
I'll start working on it, and if I have any questions, I'll round down and I'll get back
Cool.
with you. What time do you want to get back?
I'll come back at about, let's say 11:30.
All right, 11:30.
Cool.
All right, well, I'll look at this and start getting cracking. See what